friends, in this video we are just trying to explain you how the structure of the C++ begins with idea of object oriented programming. What are the classes, what are the objects, how the classes are designed, how the objects are created, how they are called. So here I have created a class data which have the two variables int x and int y and a public segment. Public means the public part, like it can be accessed from outside. By default the elements, if you do not write any tag, then they will be supposed to be the private. So int x and int y are actually the private data types. They cannot be accessed from outside. Now inside the class, if you see properly, I have declared two functions, get data and show. Both have the return type void. Now I'm defining them outside. So void data, and these two columns are called scope resolution operators. They establishes the name of the function and the return type. Like the void is the return type of the get data and the data is the name of the class to which it belongs. The name of the function is get data. So get data takes two values, int a and int b. The job of this function is to initialize the private variable of the class x and y because they cannot be accessed from outside. So int a and int b, a will be assigned into x and b will be assigned into y, and the show function simply will be displaying. So this way you can understand that how by creating the object and by calling a function you can initialize the variables of a class, because class is collection of the variables and the methods. So the variables here are private and the methods like the functions are get data and show, which are public. So these two functions can be called from outside, and these two functions can access the x and y even though are the private part of the class because they are same member of the same class, so they can access it from outside. So we have to call the function because they are public, and the functions in turn will just access the variables and do work on them. Now how to initialize? The class name is data. So how do you create the object? Data dd, data ds, data whatever name it is like. So data dd, and then with the help of dd and dot operator, dd dot get data, I call two and pass two values, 12 and 17. So the 12 will go into x and 17 will go into y. So the dd dot show, and now I'm just calling m. So see the result. Now I have to say the file extension will be .cpp. So here it goes, and you see the result, x is 12 and y is 17. Now what I'm trying to say that the private variables, like even like so data dd, x is also associated with dd. So ds and dd both have this member variable instances of them. So if I try to call ds.x and try to initialize the values directly for x and y, then let's see what the compiler says. So the compiler says x is not accessible and y is also not accessible because they are the private members of the class. If you change them as public, just like by attaching a tag public, there also you can write. Now by default they are private, so this is why it's, even if it is not there then they are private. Now if I just, now this is the natural way. So the public, the void get data and the show are the public functions, and the variables x and y are private entities. Now if I make them public, there is one more type that is called as protected, but that is mostly used in inheritance. Now when you make it now variable, all the four items have become public, so they can be accessed from outside. See, they have been initialized from outside. So the class has segments of the private, protected and the variables, and the variables are generally kept private and the functions are generally made public. Thank you very much. Watch our next video.